To the Daily High with your hosts, Matt McGregor and Tone Vase. Coming at you a little earlier today. How are you, Tone? Good evening.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I wanted to get the show done while there's still some light behind me. The sun is setting. I am in Phuket, Thailand, and later this week, off to somewhere else. Maybe Koh Samui, maybe back to Bangkok. We'll see.
Yeah, I love Koh Samui. I think that would be the place to go, better than Bangkok, in my opinion. But each to their own. Look, I'm sorry I missed yesterday. Let's crack on today because I think there's plenty to talk about as I navigate my way across. Look, it's the first of the month. Pinch and a punch for the first day of the month. Let's see how this goes. Um, I don't like the MRI count on this month as it stands. Okay, so this if this thing starts trending down and getting below 60 76, that's going to be a red star on the MRI count on the monthly time frame. And that's not an exciting case to be at, but I do have a target, a rough target, that if it was, I'm going to play devil's advocate. If we are to fade throughout this month, and I'm going to, what I'm going to show you here is interesting to me. Tone, just mute yourself for a second, brother.
Oh, yeah, I changed mics and it's getting
Yeah,
static or
that
something.
was way worse. Yeah. So I just put this little arrow in at, let's call it 71,500. Okay. If we were to come back down here, I see that as, kind of the worst case scenario for me, although it can be way worse. But it's just like what I'd be looking at. And the reason I've drawn that in is because I can see, and I didn't know that was going to be to the dot, right? But I can see on this 3-month quarterly chart that yes, we're on an MRI top right now. And it's not the kind of MRI top that Tone would like to see. He'd like to see a blow off MRI top on the 3-month, but I'll let him talk about that. But intra month, I can definitely see it's coming back down and retesting this 7 simple moving average on the quarterly chart. That might be kind of like a nothing burger. Obviously, I mean it's never really been anything before, but it ties in really nicely with the previous highs that we had, and I can actually see that playing out at one point in this month, getting down to 71,000. Right? Definitely, I'm not going to keep that there. We'll just review it through the month. I don't want to see that happen. I'm not rooting for that. Although if it was to happen, I can see it being a lot of ducks coming into line. On my charts, I could see that being, down at 71,000. It doesn't look like anything here. It's in the middle of no man's land, but you might get a really good opportunity to get a weekly green diamond, which, if you know my work, that's as good as you can get as a buying opportunity ever. So I can still see that as a good possibility. This is the weekly as it stands right now. I don't love it, to be honest. The price sort of spiked and has dropped in the last few hours. We got as high as 84 at 500, give or take, but that looks like it's pulling up into a death cross. But it's just a 7 crossing a 30. It's not the real death cross that people tend to worry about, but it's one that I take note of anyway. Like to pull back up into that and then fade. Ugh, yuck. So not that exciting, to be honest, on the weekly, although it's holding in there for now, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes. The EXA is flirting with recrossing negative again. It hasn't as of yet, so we're still watching that. But if the price drops, this will just cross negative again. And once again, it was silver lining. We just look for a new opportunity. Of course, the copy curb might be considered rounding, but it's only the start of the week. That can straighten back out and become ugh, ugly, real ugly. But once again, we just got to monitor it as we go. I was sort of looking at something. We're early today, so I might as well go into this. It's back on the monthly chart, and it's just something that probably everybody knows. I don't like that the copy curve is rounded on the monthly time frame either. I mean, this is a slow turning thing, but you can definitely see like a bit of, you know what I mean? What would you call this? A trend line developing here, and this is what it's barely a trend line, but it's a trend line in essence more than in a perfect trend line. But definitely, I was noticing that the RSI is really been declining. I mean, these are all the former bull markets that we've had. If this was it, if this was the bull market over, it's poor, real poor in terms of getting that explosive blow off top that we were all hoping for, just stalling out at 107. A lot of people, including myself, would have seen a lot higher if this is the end of that particular cycle. I'm not calling that yet, but we'll see. It just needs to kick on. Going back to the weekly, as I get more focused on what we're actually looking at instead of being speculative. What was I looking at recently? Yeah, that's basically the point. Like, just that I'm worried about this cross and just come back in and fading down. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll play it out as the week goes on. The daily time frame is like the same point. Like I am in a trade from 83.055, a long position trade, which I actually entered. Was I in the trade like on Sunday? I entered it on Sunday, and it was immediately in profit. It was negative, and it's come back up. But this is the thing that concerns me: is that like we haven't been able to clear. We're below all four moving averages here on the daily time frame: the 7, the 30, the 200, and the 50. They're all pointing down, and the price, even when it's rallied, it's got a lot to clear here. Do you know? Like it's really no need to get super excited about Bitcoin until we at least, clear 70, 87, 88,000. Really, do you know? Like we got to even get above the 50. So like we're on the wrong side of all the moving averages to get super excited. But I took a punt on this trade because there was a definite setups, and I urge you, and I'll talk more about this in a minute, to join the Discord group with the links in the description below. I'm going to start posting a lot of my trades or all of my trades in the Discord group. So it's another great free service that we've got on offer here. I highly recommend. Jump in the Discord. Got great education. We got bots. We've got everything that you might want, and a great community. But I mean, I put this trade on. I know exactly where I did it too, because we had a second consecutive green diamond. I thought that was a new low point. And then we had the MRI count come in really nicely on this candle. On this candle here, but I put on the trade once it had pulled back slightly. I thought that was a really good MRI count. It didn't go. It went against me, and a lot of people were saying in the Discord group, like, why did you stay in the trade, even though the trade like immediately went in my favor as soon as I entered the position, and I was up about 5%, and I stayed in the position to about minus 10%, and they were wondering why I stayed in the position. Well, I really liked that we came back down and got to the bottom of the. Stayed above the bottom of the previous candle, and that we were coasting along the bottom of the 7 simple moving average. So I thought that this was going to roll over, and it did, and it has broken out to now. We are above the 30 simple. I don't mind this trade that I'm currently in, but I won't let it go, and I'll make this really clear. I won't let this go negative. Oh, Jesus. I won't let this go negative once again. So I'm posting all of my trades in the Discord from now on. This is kicked off. If it fades back down and gets below my entry and below the 7 simple moving average again, I'm not going to hold it any further. So that's what it looked, the setup on the 4 hour. That's all I've got for today as I come back to you. But before I do, look, take advantage of this fantastic Blowfin promotions that we have. This is my favorite non-KYC exchange. Absolutely a winning exchange to trade with. So as I come back to you now, Tone, God, you'd think after all this time I'd figure out how to use these buttons. What's the recap? I don't know.
How's my audio? Let's start with how's my audio.
Yeah, you sound good, mate. You sound good. Yeah, look, I'm in a long trade, but I'm not going to hold it into a negative position. There's good and bad points. It's neutral.
Yeah, I'm still in a long position, not 100% long position, but a long position nonetheless. But I've also been too busy to manage that position, and this is the problem with doing events and heavy travel. That is just a total nightmare of managing those positions. And I am doing one thing right now that I'm going to show you guys.
While he does it, please like and subscribe.
Go to screen share.
Share it with your friends. Let's crack on.
I have totally forgotten to update a very important spreadsheet. I have enough data in here now, the important countries. God, why does Google do that? Ireland. There's Ireland. 339. Oh, wow. Ireland's now holding more debt than France? No, that doesn't sound right. Oh, yeah, they did, but now they flipped over again. No, wait. France is here. Ireland is here. Yep. There it is. All right, so I got these countries covered. They're the top holders. So it's a spreadsheet that I'm really, I need to do a whole show on this. It kind of tells you this is the 2024 numbers are in, and I'm already gonna add another line for January of 2025. I just have to find a way to get some of these lesser countries' data in. We'll see if that's actually available now. But yeah, you can see which countries are continuing to purchase US debt. And you can see the massive spike that Europe is becoming totally dependent on the US, buying up American debt. And China and Japan are actually going down. Here is Japan right here, the dark red. And here is China, the bright red. So China's holdings of US debt are significantly dropping. And look at this. Look at this. Yeah, that was a huge drop. Even the drop from 22 to 23 was not that bad. Went from 867 to 816, and we're closing the year at $759 billion of US treasuries being held by China. China is on a path with Russia to completely diversify away from US federal debt. And that's because the US can confiscate that money. And China doesn't want that to happen. China doesn't want the US to stop paying their debts because the war has started between China and US. So I think they will go all the way down to just a few $100 billion in debt over the next 2 years. So there's going to be massive selling of US government debt by China. So expect that. And you can see which countries are buying more debt. Hong Kong and Taiwan, which are very influenced by the US, but China is not. So it's a very interesting dynamic, and the BRICS are staying steady, not increasing, not decreasing. Okay, I talked about the price of Bitcoin yesterday. Nothing's really changing today. We had the monthly close. I had a little discussion with Mark Wood. Mark Wood is of the belief that if we closed below 82,000, it would have been a massive bear market with the price going all the way into the 60s. And if we closed above 82,000, that's going to be avoided. We closed at 82,500. Personally, I don't see any difference between 82,000 and 82,500. I'm not that type of trader. To me, something that's off by half of a percent makes no difference whatsoever. But for some people, every single penny of a close makes a difference. Martin Armstrong is actually one of those people. If the price of Bitcoin, say, closed at $82,300, it would be bearish. But $82,300.82, and it's suddenly all catastrophes avoided. I am not that type of trader. To me, if it's within a margin of error, and my margin of error is pretty damn conservative. So I am concerned on the $82,500 close. And to me, we need to do a lot for me to be bullish. This was a very weak monthly close. This monthly close had a new monthly close on the swing. It had a new monthly low intra-month. So this candle, even though it's a doji-ish looking candle, to me, it's actually just as bearish as the big candle before it. I do not see any bullishness in current candle, not on the monthly level. We also have a red 2 on the MRI, and if this candle is a doji, makes it incredibly easy to print a red star candle next month. And the red star candle could be the end of the downswing, but like it was the last red star candle, But that candle still fell 25% for 15 grand. But 25% this time is going to be a lot more than 15. Well, yeah, 25% this time is going to be a lot more than 15 grand. That's 20 grand. That takes us to the low 60s. So I am pretty concerned for the monthly because of the flippening in the MRI count on the monthly chart. The weekly chart is having a bullish flippening, which, contrary to some belief, is not actually bullish. A green one candle in this area is not bullish to me. It resets the MRI count, creating actually a higher probability that we're going to still reach the MRI buy, but now we have 9 to 10 candles more to go. It is possible we get a green star candle next month, but we would also need us to basically just get back above all the moving averages. Like it's hard for me to be bullish below 95K.
Yeah.
Matt, you want to say something?
Yeah, mate. Like I agree with you on this MRI count here. I'd almost rather this be an 8, a red 8 than a green one. Do you know what I mean? Like to wash out to finish off the cycle, then starting it again. Jeez, no, I don't want that.
I mean, look, we can still get a red 8. It's not going to take much.
Yeah.
All we need is
that's
we need the candle to close below 80,000, but I don't want to see it. Right?
No.
Like Bitcoin has been depressing long enough that I would love to see it go higher. I don't care what shitcoin news pumps it, because the shitcoins are just going to keep crashing against Bitcoin. So that's not an issue. And I don't want to see it go below 80, but going below 80.
Yeah, so you've got that 71 line that I had drawn in today's show as well. You've got that there. That's the
but see, here's the other problem.
Yeah.
Even if we print a red 8, I'm not going to be happy about the MRI buy, because it's going to be in massive consolidation. I'm going to want
massive capitulation if we drop down to 71.
Right. Like if this is going to be a red 8, I want to see it like even below the moving average. Like if this is going to be a red 8,
yeah,
I want to see it at 74, and then I want to see the MRI buy candle, which is the following candle, to go all the way to 71, and then I'm buying the dip.
Yeah, green star, Alpha Metrics weekly green star.
Like everything would line up at 71.
But if we just to jump in, I'm sorry, this is your time, but let me just say this. Imagine getting a Alpha Metrics green star weekly candle at 71. That for me is the end of the bear market at 71. The previous green star was at 17. So put that in your mind. The previous one prior to that was at 3,000. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and then the previous one before that was at 1,700. So like, I would love the idea that we bottomed out a sneaky bear market in $71,000 range. That gives a tremendous upside to me, but it would still be scary when it happens.
Hey, Matt, we got Baloo watching us. I see him in the live chat.
Yo. He's in Dubai now, so we've even more complicated time frames.
Oh. All right. Daily chart. The daily chart is showing signs of life. It's breaking the MRI count on a 5 candle. And we got so much resistance here. Once again, the daily chart will not be bullish until we get a green star candle and go all the way to 88. But by the time we get to 88, we're probably going to miss the MRI move. So I just don't see myself entering longs anywhere here. And once you're above 88, now you're stuck with this massive 92 resistance and another moving average. I mean, everything just looks bad. It looks bad, guys. I have nothing bullish to say. We got to wait for some significantly higher prices. 10-minute chart is not interesting right now. The 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart does look very clean. Needs a lot higher, though. Again, not a green star candle I want to buy. It's got too much resistance above it.
I didn't know you get a star on the 5th.
That's a good question. I don't usually put a star in on the 5th, just the first 4. Again, all the upgrades to TradingView Might have messed with my code a little bit. I need to, once I'm done with this Asia trip, I'm going to have to get a coder and review the code thoroughly. Yeah, fifth is the last possible green star you can get. And I'm not sure if I had it on fifth or fourth as the last one. I guess if it's on fifth, then fifth is possible. I coded this a long time ago. And I do like the pattern, break into new highs, but all this resistance is not good. All this resistance is just not good. We're supposed to be in the highlight of the bullish cycle, and we're nowhere near it. So that's a disappointment. Oil is coming off an MRI buy. I would just stay away from oil right now. Very weird situation with the global war drums beating everywhere. Gold. I think gold's going to top this month. We did have a second consecutive MRI top, and now we're working on extension C on the monthly scale. The weekly scale is working on a second consecutive MRI top, which is going to be near the end of its count at the end of the month. So I do think gold is topping this month, but at the very end of the month. S&P, we're in pre-market right now, so I'd have to go to the futures to see what's going on. Trump is really doing a terrible job, a really terrible job with the economy by raising tariffs on anything that moves while not giving any relief to the American consumer, which is a way to start a revolution against Trump. I mean, this is not good for Trump. He needs to do something. Either the tariffs needs to stop, or he needs to immediately cut taxes. Like, screw the balanced budget. He needs to do something because the price of goods and services is about to skyrocket for the U.S. consumer. And if he's not going to lower taxes, he's in serious trouble.
Mate, I was in Denver, as you know, last month, I believe, or the month before that.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there. I couldn't believe how expensive it was, man. Like, I thought Australia was so much more expensive. America's more expensive. I'm a wealthy man, and I couldn't believe like $1,000 a night hotel rooms are just average.
Dude,
In
I
downtown.
took a train from the airport and then I walked like 30 minutes from the train station to your fight.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can't. There's no such thing as a taxi there. It doesn't exist. I don't know. Everything was so expensive in America. It was insane. They'd lost their mind.
And Denver is not an expensive state. I mean, the liberals have made it more expensive than it used to be, but that's not some of the more expensive areas in the U.S.
Oh, I mean, I've just been spoiled spending most of my time in Asia, where $1,000 a night room is in Bali or something immaculate.
I'm in Thailand. I don't think they even exist.
They don't even exist. Like that, you get a wife for that kind of price for the night.
Probably more than a night.
for your life, for your year. Yeah, no, it's wild. It's wild. No. All right. Look, let's wrap this up. This is depressing me. I don't like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'm with you. Here. There's one thing that will cheer us up. Not Tesla. Bitcoin dominance.
Yeah. Wow.
Right there. That will cheer anybody up. And of course, the continued fall of Ethereum.
Yeah, that's
the weekly chart. Here's the monthly chart.
uh-huh.
And it is on a monthly MRI buy, but
that's a poison buy.
Right. So this line is here on a weekly scale,
Yeah.
but you see the red star candle on a monthly scale.
Clean
so
trade.
Once that red star showed up, which would have been right there, taking the short on Ethereum as of the last red star made you 50%.
Yeah.
It's crashed 50% against the price of Bitcoin since August.
Yeah. It's 10x leverage. That's a pretty good trade.
Nah, the fees would have killed you.
I would have eaten them. You would have beat the fees on that trade.
All right, guys. That's pretty much it. I'm going to update this spreadsheet And I'm going to take a look at this data. I want to get the 2025 number in, just to get that 2025 year in there, because I already have some data for January of 2025. So that's going to be good. And yeah, now I need to get these little countries data as well. And then I got this summer, I'm going to do maybe I can get Lynn Alden on a show and we can discuss the US economy and what does this data mean. To me, this data is so important. Who's buying US bonds and who's selling US bonds on a global scale. It literally tells you which countries are US lapdogs and which countries are adversarial. It's such important data. All right, guys. That is it for me. Don't forget, we had some horrible months in ETF selling Bitcoin. Considering how much Bitcoin they sold, maybe the price ain't all that bad. Once the bull market resumes again, man, imagine if the ETFs buy 40,000 Bitcoin in a month again, like they did back in January. Man, Bitcoin can skyrocket to 150.
Yeah, and that's what that's what I'm kind of rooting for in a bad way. I kind of would love a washout to 71, weekly green diamond, MRI buy, and then resume. That sounds like a really good idea.
All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. And we
Thanks,
will
guys.
see you on the next one. I can't promise a show tomorrow or the night after. Well, we're going to play it one day at a time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys. Let me stop screen share. All right. And it's dark. It's dark behind me. You still see the ocean, though. You can still see the ocean. Look at that.
Links in the description below. Go to blackbox.pro and join the Discord group. It's a fantastic group. I'll be posting all my trades. Baloo is in there posting trades. It's a good option. See you soon.